Thank you.
All right. Hello, just checking. All right, hi, welcome. And you made it the last day. Thank you for coming to this talk. My name is Miao, Miao like a cat. I'm currently a senior product designer at Autodesk. And today, we're going to talk about designing XR collaboration platform for AEC industry. And for those of you who are not familiar with, AEC stands for Architecture, Engineering, and Construction. So AEC industry has been designing, planning, building 3D constructions using 2D methods for a long time. So when XR spatial computing come along, it seems like it's a natural solution for AEC industry to adopt. However, AEC industry is very, very complicated with many different stakeholders. Depending on the size of the construction, the workflow can get very complex. Improving coordination to increase productivity has been a common thing in AEC practice. So as an XR designer, we want to relieve customers' pain point as much as possible. But in reality, we face restriction from today's hardware, limitation on resources, particular development resources, and competition. So how do we strategize and design an XR platform so that it fits into today's AEC workflow and help increase productivity? Today we'll approach this topic from 3 aspects. The first part, we'll dive into stakeholders in AEC and understanding their relationship. How do we use this information to identify MVP features that will demonstrate our product value the best and fast? The business of AEC is really simple. Basically, someone who has money and pays someone who has skills in exchange for a building. The problem is building a house is very complicated. And in reality, stakeholder map might look something like this. And note I didn't even fill in some of the stakeholder because there are just so many. And different stakeholder has different needs, different asks. It could be really daunting initially for a designer to get in. For example, just within architecture team, you would hear renderers want a more efficient rendering tool or more realistic material visualizer, and PMs asking for a guiding tool for them to guide their client in virtual reality. So the first step is to categorize, for us, is to categorize their common needs. And because that's where feature requests come from, when we put them into buckets, it's just that much easier for us to construct our personas. Here we define 4 targeted user types. Understanding who we're designing for help us make design decisions in the future along the way. Another aspect is understanding stakeholders' relationship and how they interact with each other. This will help us to prioritize their needs and help us to prioritize our feature request. Here's a cheesy diagram. Shows the financial dynamic among the stakeholders. And you can see from this diagram, the majority of owner's money goes into construction to a general contractor, which means if there's something goes wrong in that phase, there's much higher financial risk. And in this diagram, this is a complicated diagram with acronyms. You don't have to understand everything, but the 2 big chunk is, first chunk is all about design and assess constructability. And the second part is construction. There's a bidding process in between, very brief bidding process. So if we can, from this diagram, if we can figure out how to improve coordination in the first half, we can help our user to effectively lower their risk in the second half. Which means for our product, we identified engineers are the stakeholders who assess the critical constructability. And if we can help them initially to increase their coordination efficiency, we could demonstrate our XR product value very fast. And here I boxed out two personas. The engineer, as discussed earlier, and BIM manager. As it turned out, BIM managers are the people who evaluate new softwares within an AEC firm, and they have the best knowledge within their firms to talk about XR, emerging technologies. So if we help to fulfill some of their needs, it helps us in return to communicate with our customers better. And notice architect is not even identified as the very first initial target. It's not that architects are not important. Architects are very important. And trust me when I say it, as a former architect, architects hate not feeling important. But jokes aside, we have limited dev resources, so we have to focus on targeting engineers' pain point. And that would maximize our initial product impact. This means some of the features from other feature requests from other personas are taken note of, but pushed back just a little bit on our roadmap. In the second part, we'll discuss the opportunities that XR offers to improve coordination efficiency within AEC industry. We already know, given everybody here, everybody's XR enthusiastic. XR is all about immersive experience, and AR is about emphasizing on overlaying in real world. And cross-platform gives flexibility to in coordination, in meetings and coordinations. Here's an example of current version of Autodesk Workshop XR, which is fully in VR. In this scenario, engineers from all different disciplines and different locations work together. They can see, for example, pipelines and equipments clashing into each other and discuss a solution right on the spot and document it. It's much more efficient than traditionally passing joins around between different red lines and joins around between different departments, and possibly missing some clashings. Immersive mode lets user experience the unbuild as if it's real in front of them. The design challenge for collaboration, for designing a collaboration in this case is obviously everything is digital. So from audio, how two people talk to each other, their gestures, to file transferring, data sharing, everything needs to be designed. Everything has to have a workflow. Compared to here, we have an example from Magic Leap workshop. In this scenario, designers are showing their client an installation on site. They get together, drive to a place, and they're seeing this end result before it's even constructed. You can imagine how efficient this is than showing in the past maybe printing out a bunch of 2D renderings or even video workthrough. The method of overlaying lets user visualize information in reality. Since communication is in person in this use case, there's not much to design about communication interaction. I can just speak to the other person naturally. However, the user flow, like share information and multiple people interact on one virtual object, it still needs to be figured out. And then finally, Microsoft Teams is a cross-platform device communication product that many firms use already. And recently, Mesh launched on Teams. VR became supported by Teams. And if you remember several years ago, Mesh is actually a product launched for HoloLens. It's a communication product launched for HoloLens. And so that there is an AR possibility for Mesh. Even though Mesh doesn't have a feature targeting AEC industry, it does demonstrate how user can easily pick the device of their choice based on their needs and where they are, and join a collaborative meeting altogether. This is important for AEC industry because while design might happen in office, construction has to happen on site. And user has to choose their devices based on their situations and what they want to see. And the biggest challenge for cross-device communication, cross-device collaboration is consistency. Different devices have different pros and cons, different interface. So figuring out how to keep collaborative workflow consistent and seamless is the key in this situation. As a matter of fact, my former colleagues from Microsoft Mesh team gave a talk this morning on spatial audio. And one of the biggest challenges they had to figure out was creating a seamless audio experience for different devices. And you can just imagine, when you have spatial audio in VR and someone join on their phone, what does that look like? So most recently, Apple Vision Pro offers a blend of modes from fully immersive to reality path-through. And the resolution is high enough for videos and high enough for comfortable text reading. I'm personally looking forward for one device does it all solution, but it's on the market for so short of amount of time, so we'll see what happens. The next part, the final part, we'll talk about Workshop XR's full potential leveraging Autodesk's ecosystem. Current AEC coordination flow might not be the most efficient, but it's very mature. And I see a lot of times people come in and try to present a new product and trying to pitch to AEC industry people to use. But the problem is it doesn't fit into their workflow because there are many established industry standards in AEC. And this is just one example. Luckily, Autodesk has a big and long-term impact because of its many industry standard softwares like Revit, Navisworks, AutoCAD, and more importantly, cloud-based services like Autodesk Construction Cloud, ACC. It links all the data together for coordination. So if you remember from the first part of this presentation, we talked about user analysis, figuring out if you're starting an XR, figuring out what are the most important feature that we need to develop for our MVP product launch. Well, all these teams, they have been analyzing the same customer base for much longer, and judging on how widely they're used in the industry, they must have done something right. And then to keep going, they need to keep on fulfilling customers' feature ask and innovating new features. So what if I look at all these internal teams as another group of potential user on XR platform. What do they need to port their new features onto Workshop XR, just as they're porting it onto mobile and PC? So if I can figure out a pipeline for them to easily port their features onto XR platform, I'm letting the original AEC experts serving AEC customers directly with their features. And as a result, the XR team can just focus on improving users' collaboration experience and to make frictionless collaborative meeting scenarios for them to increase their productivity. So for example, in this use case, measuring tool is a highly requested feature by our customers. And you can see here, measurement tool is well-researched, well-designed, shipped by ACC, Autodesk Construction Cloud team, and used by many people. So if we have a design developer pipeline for our internal team to launch on our XR platform, it would save us, the XR design team, duplicated work. And now we can focus on designing what a collaborative UX looks like with the measuring tool. Things like, what does a shared view of measurement look like? How does user hide and unhide each other's measurement? And if they find a wrong measurement, what is the collaborative workflow for them to report an issue and send it to different teams? And maybe figuring out a solution on the spot. So because of this powerful Autodesk ecosystem that Workshop XR can leverage, it will serve much better in alleviating people's pain point in AEC industry from their complex workflow and help our customers to increase their productivity. And that's the end of my talk. Thank you very much. Sure.
Okay, so we still have about 6 more minutes till our next and last talk of the day. Now Miao can take a few questions if there are any. Please, there's a microphone here. If you'll be so kind to ask there.
The stage is so high.
Hello. Great presentation. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
BIM coordinator here. So my question is a bit more technical, I guess. How does what's it called again?
Workshop XR.
Workshop XR fit into the current offering? Like, is it a part of BIM Collaborate Pro, or how do we get access to it?
Oh, that's a good question. Currently, we are invite only. You can sign up on the website, and it's a private preview right now, and you can sign up for beta. And
does it use tokens, or is it just beta and free to use as long as you want?
On our website, we have our marketing.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Any more questions? Yeah. Hi.
I'm curious. So does Revit talk directly to Workshop? I just click a button on Revit and it goes into Workshop, and I can go into the Revit file in XR, or?
If you have ACC, then yes. And I believe it's the other way around. So if you log into a Workshop XR,
and then pull a Revit file into it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Are there other files that go into that? So any Miao
Naviswork files, Revit file. We do have a roadmap of all the file type we want to.
Okay, so it is planned to go for many of the different types. Okay.
Yes.
Very good. Yeah.
But it has to be hosted on ACC, right?
Currently,
Your file.
yes.
Okay.
Yes. Currently, yes. Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Miao Tian. Great.